Sorry, the minute flew by as I was reading Tier's deck list. Give me a second. So, hello everyone. Hope you're all having a good evening. I went to a meetup yesterday with a couple of buds and had a fun time trying to make a scoring deck work. And I think it's definitely difficult to do in a Woo World Tree meta, but it's, you know, the whole point is to challenge ourselves and to not get better at Netrunner and then blame our bad decks for when we perform poorly. Let me turn on the correct light rather than the one I actually... Alright. Hopefully, looks like supposedly there are people here. We'll see. Please say hi if you're here. I appreciate it. This is probably one of the big decks of the week. I think everyone's talking about. Hey, that's no mud. I'm not going to be playing this today. I actually should probably bug Deer and some other Snare Bears members to talk about this deck. Maybe post CBI, I'll try and grab a bunch of the top finishers, whoever they are, and we can talk about the meta decks. And maybe this isn't meta deck. Who knows? Like, this was something that we found was strong in testing and looked good in one game on stream, but it's really hard to figure out what's going on. And yeah, Billy, Netrunner might as well be dead, right? Like, we had one event where this deck won one game. Can't have that happen. Let's pack it up and go home. Is this actually what I called this? No. Okay. That was a different one. Okay. So, actually, I want to shout out another deck. Where is it? I am, like, completely convinced this deck is not actually any good at this point. Like, I actually don't think I've definitely lost to it, but, like, okay, I'm gonna, like, shrink my face because I am not actually that important. Okay, so Beeblum just took a small G and K with this, and I think it's a really interesting idea. It's well, we're gonna score out with Op, and we're gonna use Too Big to Fail, Trebuchet. I think that's it as our bad pub sources, and that will get us, if we can play 4 of those cards, we get our regulatory captures. And I guess we're doing Zato Grid, Trebuchet, Ansel, and just chucking all of our ice to blow up the runner's stuff, which I think is pretty rude. I'm not sure it's good. And they say, oh, I think the Skunkworks version is better. So let's go take a look at their Skunkworks version, which I think is worth taking a look at. Beeblum, one of the OG Netrunner people. I'm very glad they're still in the scene. And this is what I was iterating on. And the idea of this deck is, oh, Manigarm Skunkworks, which says whenever the runner approach... Actually, let's pull up a better size image of that. Oh, maybe this is a waste of time now, but... oh no, it's... videos... shoot, sorry. Apologies for the terrible stream content. Let me show you what I'm just pulling up my image puller, but okay, so let's go, and now I can actually get the card. Let's pull it up. Okay. The Manigarm Skunkworks says whenever the runner approaches this server, end the run unless they either spend 2 clicks or 5 credits. Sorry, Billy, when you're saying this deck, do you mean the Shaper Bullshit op list? Just to make sure I know which one you're talking about. It seems like that's not. This says whenever the runner approaches the server, end the run unless they spend this cost. But we have a second card that fires on. So the traditional combination with this obviously is Anoetic Void, right? Which says also whenever trigger. So because you're the corp, you get to layer these triggers how you want. Formicary also has whenever the runner. Basically, this text isn't, but the errata text is definitely a whenever. So basically, we can have the runner pay for a Managarm and then say, oh, here's a Formicary, oh, here's a Formicary, a couple of times, and that often taxes them out. So that's the idea behind this deck. So that said, this deck has no Parhelion cards. Now, I don't think there's a ton of Parhelion cards we particularly want, but let's do some fiddling. So we're going to copy this into deck lists. I think something that's interesting is I'm not as convinced by the Crisium grid anymore. And I don't think I want the NGO fronts. I think what I want is Yakov's. Let's look at the... What was the ice we got? Yeah, say the special offer for what end? Who knows? I really like to put a single ice wall in here. I am less sold on some of these iffier, well, I'm going to call iffier cards. The thing I really want to do is cut these hedge funds. Let's cut them out. Oh wait, I didn't actually cut the Crisium grid. Okay. Maybe we'll put the hedge funds back in. So maybe we just make that just swapping NGO fronts into Yakov's, Shida's. But I wonder if we want to do something like, what 3-cost things do we have available to us? Right, we're on 2 Afshars and a Magnet at 3 cost, and a Sapper, and a Sandstone. I really want a second Sandstone. Maybe we only go... Owl is like our 2 cost. Formicary is really bad. Filter. Let's see. Oh, wow, the draw works on the first time now. This is something like install Oaktown, install Sandstone after our mandatory draw, advance. Then score. It's not terrible. That's a rough hand, but the Mando makes it fine. Like install on central, install on the remote, install on the remote, and you don't res. We could try a single Zato in here. I wouldn't mind it, honestly. Let's put 1 Zato in, we can see. Because it probably does open up some scoring windows. I think the biggest problem with Zato in Envelopment is a bit of a non-bow. Let's go down to 3 Formicaries is like the core glue of the deck. Like, all of these cards are core, is sort of the problem. So I'm like, oh, hedge funds are less core, but I don't think Yakov is that reliable of an econ option for us. We're gonna go down to 1 Audacity. Worse Shaper bullshit for CBI. All right, let's go. Let's copy this. Let's go to Jinteki. Maybe we could play with a 3-pointer. It's definitely a thought. I think we're gonna have a hard time scoring a 3-pointer is the problem. And it also makes, so like this guarantees that basically both of us are playing to 4 scores. Oh wow, my camera is huge. Okay. let's move that down and over here. And so by going to like, because this is 2 points, 2 points, 1 point, 2 points, 2 points. So the runner has to touch 4 of our agendas to win the game. If we go to a 3-pointer, sometimes we're going to lose to the runner only touching 2 of our agendas. Which is like a pretty tricky proposition, I think. Especially because R&D access pressure is going up, not down. I'm a little bit trepidatious about the randomness that we could potentially face. That said, maybe you can make a scoring 5-3 list, because Zato is better if we're just trying to use Zato to end the run, right? You could imagine a world where we have 2 ice and a Zato grid, and the runner doesn't run the remote server on their first click. Then we can guarantee go trash an ice, grab something with Zato that ends the run, end the run with the first ice with the Zato, end the run second time with the Zato, and end the run the third time with the Zato. And we can clear out a whole server but force a score, and maybe that's a way to go. And so you go for an early aggressive tempo score, and then a later hard push a 5-3. Maybe that's a game plan that we could pursue. But I think it's a little bit I don't know. I think we're gonna go for 3 scores, and we can also get an Audacity score in. One card we're not putting in, which we definitely should think about, is a Gaslight. I wonder if you could cut a Managarm, put in some Gaslights, and try and make things work, and maybe bring the Ice Suite res cost down even more, and try and run faster, lower to the ground, because Gaslight does synergize pretty nicely with Yakov. Oops, so let me pull those cards up. If you are coming into the meta, prepping for the well, so I think here's the thing. Here's my argument for why actually having more cards like Gaslight in the deck might be good. Is that if what is this deck's game plan? This deck's game plan is really we want to get a Managarm that just is really obnoxious to get to. And so if they're spending the pinhole on the Managarm, we're obviously sad. But if they have to instead expend that on Rashida Jaheim's and Gaslights, and maybe even Spin Doctor, or things like that, maybe we're in a happier place. I'm not sure. It's an ill-formed theory. But to some extent, it's rather than say, oh, I have to hope my opponent doesn't have the pinhole, it's, well, I just keep throwing in threats so that my opponent just needs to have more pinholes than they can put in the deck. It's maybe the thing. And I just very quickly, is the Restream bot working? Are people on YouTube seeing Twitch? It looks like relay mode should be live. I guess I can go check on YouTube really quickly. Hopefully we don't get... It looks like it is. Fantastic. But yeah. Hey, Quilana. Thanks for coming by. Ooh, Go Hawks and Beans. That's a fun one to watch. I know at the end of last stream I said I would have a video up. You'll note I don't have a video up on YouTube. In my defense, I actually have the recording done for the video. I do have a recording done for the video, or mostly done. What I did was I made a video about the deck that got me into my first top cut of a event of more than 20 people, which is, of course, Reconstruction Contract Dedication Ceremony, ASA. This is more or less Pincel's Worlds list, but I made it a little bit different by putting in red level clearance. All right, Kolana. Well, feel free to come in some other time, and maybe we can even do a little like post game and probably not with this op deck, but if you want to, I could switch over to something like a precision design deck, and we could play out a game and then talk about where to improve or like things you should be thinking about. So you know that offers, or if also this goes for anyone in the chat. If you have replays you want to go over, I would love to go over some replays. I think there's something I want to get back to doing, and I think it's the only way I can get to having content more regularly is just doing replay reviews, because I think they're both useful and require a little bit less work from me. So I'd like to get back to doing them. I will start doing them on my own games, but hopefully other people will want to do them, or will send me some, because I think it's I play in a very particular style, and so I think it'd be helpful to have other people's styles as well. But yeah, I actually played. What did we play? Yeah, I only won 2 out of the 5 games we played. In my defense, it's because I gave my opponent my runner deck that I brought to the same event, where I was convinced everyone would be on this deck, and so I teched really hard. I had like 5 tech cards in my deck that no one else in the meta was running, and absolutely wrecked me. And so we had a couple of games, and then I sort of smoothed into the groove and figured out how to play again. Because one of the wild things I forgot about in this era is you have 0 flood mitigation. Your flood mitigation is supposed to be a preemptive action, and that was like the only card you have. And preemptive action is not a it's banned, but it's banned because it's really good in very slow decks. And this list is a very fast list. It's a combo list where I was drawing the entire deck by turn 8. Also because it's like Vile Level Clearance is a completely screwed up card. Let's make sure no one's showed up to play. Man, real quiet. No one's joining my games. They're seeing us live and saying no thanks. But yeah, I don't know. It was a lot of fun to film. I then recorded some intro footage, but I need to go and edit that onto like actual things happening on the screen. But today I did go and put together the people nervous. This chat is savage. Yeah, I know the chat's better than me at playing Netrunner. So maybe I'll just do a video of chat plays Jeff, and you guys can just pilot me around. Yeah, VLC was such a wild card. Okay, can we play this? Yeah, we can play this against Alice. Okay. I thought I was Asa for a second. Holy smokes. Okay, we're gonna do this. And if Alice runs Archives now, we just ditch a Spin Doctor, I think. Sure, if my opponent wants to Stargate right away. We're going to break Stargate lock. We also got triple ice here, which is fantastic. They should trash the border control, which is what they do. We'll just ditch a Spin Doctor here. And we should be well ahead on tempo now. Because we have VLC. It's just a 0 cost asset that we technically have to protect. I think I'm going to slow roll this Atlas a little bit. There's also a potential world where I go like install Audacity. But I don't think that's really the line I want to go for. I forget what breakers they have. Just an MK. Okay. We have 2 Managarms, so... And we can tutor one with this Sandstone. I think we're okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go res the Spin Doctor, advance, install in server 1, and make a new remote. I'm just trying to keep some tempo pressure up. I don't mind discarding like an envelopment here. Like if the runner's just going to spend a card to make me lose a click to make me lose a card, I think I'm totally fine, especially with this Spin Doctor uncontested on the board. We don't make that much money. We will res Rashida here. I mean, also like we're just 2 Rashidas in the top 35 is really, really good. Okay, we're going to actually slow down again. We're going to do this, and we're going to look for a credit. Next turn, we're going to just score the Atlas. Do we res this Forma carry? I don't think so. I think I have to ditch this Audacity, though. And I have to remember to turn the Forma carry off. Maybe I'm supposed to res this Forma carry. I don't know. I'm surprised they ran through it, but I guess border control is not that valuable. Okay. Cool. So now we just go advance, 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 score. Atlas counters. Okay, yeah. Glad to hear that you agree. Foil flaws. Because I think they're happy to take 2 net damage there most of the time, probably. This time bomb is fine. I think we're gonna do something like install, advance the Oaktown. We might even extract the Sandstone to get a Managarm. I think I can actually lose the Audacity here. Like the Spin Doctors do. I could maybe pop the Spin Doctor at this point. But I actually don't need to do this, right? They don't have a paperclip in the bin still. So what we're actually going to do is draw here. Okay, well, we didn't draw a card that we can easily get rid of. Which is a bummer. They're targeting HQ with Bankar. Makes some sense. Maw's a fun console. They're going to Bravado. Yeah, I'm fine to res Magnet here. We'll make them pay a little bit. Yep, an MK Ultra. They steal a Hostile. It's a bummer, but we have an Atlas counter. I think I'm gonna res the Forma carry here. I think I'm a little tired than walking through it for free. I guess now they have money, so they kind of do walk through it for free, but whatever. I think it's probably the extract here. My opponent's quite happy that all I'm drawing is agendas, I think. But we'll just keep scoring, right? Like, why stop scoring if my opponent's not going to stop me? Probably going to run on HQ is my guess. Oh, actually, no, they're probably going to do Stargate. We don't need to mill any cards. We're just going to Sabo through from top of the deck, and they're not going to be agendas because we've got all of these points. Wow, they're spending a Botchless token on the Forma carry. This feels like a big overcommitment to me. But what they want to do. Okay, so I think we can do this. Now they're going to run HQ and steal an agenda. That's fine. We have another in hand, so oops. One. Sure. Yep, they got the Atlas. Hey, Ginevra. Oh my god, that's like the one draw that loses me the game, I think. So I think it's draw. What is this? Life. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well. We have, what is this? 3, 7, 13 out of our 20 points. I'm hoping that, okay, beautiful. This is exactly what we want. Because we actually have enough credits to hit them here. They still don't have paperclip. And, well, so Teachling, I can't dump them. There's no window where I can dump them and spin them between the Alice encounter. Because the successful run triggers happen after, it's weird. They install the MK Ultra and then also install a Botulus. Like, okay. They should actually just run HQ here and win the game. So if they run HQ, I have to go and pull an Atlas counter right now. Okay. I kind of want to draw a bunch. No, this is actually pretty safe, I think, right? This is such a weird board state because I have just drawn literally only agendas. Let's draw all the agendas today. Let's just advance this once for a credit. So now I can in theory do some surviving here. I think where are we running? Put Atlas token for ice now that Hostile is in hand. Oh, that's true. I can. You're right. Yeah, let's grab some ice here. Let's grab border control. The access of Forma carry. We actually lose the Forma carry. Great. No further actions here. Man, I feel like we drew, like, not all of our agendas. We'd be great here. Let's put some more not agendas in the deck before we draw. What is this game? Okay, this is 5, 10, 16 points. Is that right? For 20 cards left? That can't be right, right? Okay, so I actually should not install the Hostile because it's more likely. Because if they steal the Hostile, we don't lose. Oh, Border Control HQ is definitely an option. Yes. Ma, you're completely correct. Border Control HQ is completely correct, and I am tilted off the... I'm just playing terribly. Alright. So they're just dead. Right? I guess they're not just dead. I may have just thrown the game because I thought the runner was dead. Depends on... It depends on Steel Skin. I'm realizing. I was 100% safe, but... Okay, thank goodness. Okay. I mean, it was their last click, so the correct play was the Sandstone Envelopment. Though, as everyone else is pointing out in chat, the correct play was to install border control. So thank you all for reminding me that I am terrible at Netrunner. Yeah, it was score Oaktown, install border control, next turn, win with the Atlas. Or the Hostile. But, you know, so it goes. All right, so let's see if we can draw. Yeah, there's 4 points left in R&D there, so good thing we were off there. Might have used our ability otherwise. That might actually be a problem with this off list, is it doesn't have a ton of ways to use its own ability. It's literally just extract and border control. Like, can we fit an excavator in here? We've got 19 ice. We've got to be able to fit an excavator in here. We've got 19 fucking ice, and we drew more agendas than ice. What the heck? Do you think Asa is somewhat feasible in the current meta? I suspect. So here's where I would go for Asa, because I think all of my lists have been dead ends. Though I don't think the difference between my... Extract Zato and Mavirus. Thank you, Foil Flaws. I'm on one Zato, right? Yeah, I have one Zato. It's fine. And Special Offer. Yeah, see, we got plenty of off triggers. We just drew 0 of them. But, yeah, the Special Offers, I don't know if they're pulling their weight. I have yet to fire them, so, you think playing a Drafter? I don't know. I don't know about Drafter, but... Because, like, Drafter's not a good target for border control, really. Maybe it is, actually. Maybe it is. But does Drafter ever actually fire an Ob? Like, I'm not Zato Drafter. Yeah, hard to hit Ob when Alice, like, completely walks over me that game. Okay, we want Type, we want Continental. So we're going to go... This is where I would go for Asa, which is this list. I have one Sapper. Oh. Okay. So this is probably where I would start. I don't think this fully operational is particularly important to this deck. Maybe I should just run this deck. Swap out the archive memories for... did we get anything I want to run? Is there a single Parhelion HB card I want to run? Honestly, my biggest complaint with Parhelion. Ooh, I do like the next lockdown. Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah, two Knack, I think, is actually... Oh, Gaslight is sick. Okay. Yeah, you're totally right. Foil Flaw. Oh, I opened this in the wrong thing. So do you really... Foil Flaws, do you really believe in the Echo Pulse Wave Bloop suite? Because I think if you just don't run that suite, you're better off. Oh, and this is doing the dumb 3 GFI thing that Europeans love. Yeah, so a GFI becoming a, and by dumb I mean they're better by and large they're better players than me. So, but I just don't think it's worth it. I think that one influence is such a high cost. Okay, so yeah, foil flaws. I'm definitely going to adapt your list. I like that list a lot, and it's basically this one. So here, I'm going to go. I opened it in the wrong browser because I'd like to do I like to keep a browser for Jeff and a browser for Stream. You can do 2 seamless if you're on Gaslight. I think much easier. So this is just foil flaws. I'm just transcribing your list, but I'm going to just copy the ice suite over from the other one. Gaslight, Maryland. Nico, and this should go back up to 3. I kind of like, there's a part of me that's like, if I'm running this much econ, should I be running a Sandberg or something like it? Probably with Pinhole around, the answer is no, but it's definitely a thought I've been having. Because like, after getting blown out by it, I'm like, you know, maybe it's something. And then border controls, and then we're going to go and grab this better ice suite. Shoot. Okay. Fairchild, Gatekeepers, Magnets, yep. Gatekeeper, 2, Magnet. I actually think we might be, because there's less Botulus around, I feel like we might be back into the Gatekeeper's better meta. Oops. Ansel and Drafter. And what card am I missing? 3 Sentries versus 4, 7 Code Gates versus 6. Oh, there's not an extra barrier here. What am I thinking here? Eli 1.0. Oh, I actually like that a lot. Eli 1.0. It's funny how Eli 1.0 is coming back in. Because Eli 1.0 works actually really well with our stuff. Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to call this Foil Flaws Asa. I'm going to play another game of that op first and see if we can actually, you know, use op at any point. But there was a change we were going to make. And now I don't remember it. This owl is just staring at me, telling me it's wrong. I have no 2s that I care about, right? Yakov is not a good... Well, okay, Manic Arm's a good 2. We leave an influence for God. We cut these special offers. Maybe we don't need 3 envelopments. And we can put the magnet back in. We'll give this a shot. I also like Tranquility Grid over Hedge generally. No way you need 3 envelopments? Yeah, you're right. You do need 3 envelopments. Probably the Ice Wall is what you don't need. Yeah, let's cut the Ice Wall because we're running special offers. Yeah, in Asa, we're saying cut hedges for Tranquilities. We're running both, I think, which is probably a little more robust. I think it's pretty tricky. The other thing I actually like, maybe just going back to Void Asa, this is running ganked because I'm a fucking memer. And like people, so like, to be honest, I shouldn't be showing this because I was like, oh, I could show up to a tournament and I could just play ganked Asa and literally nobody would expect it. And so I would just get free Swiss wins. But that plan is now out the window because I said it on stream, and all 20 of you will definitely remember that forever. But is that a thing that Dan did where he put some cheese tech in one of his decks? I should go back and watch some old Dan streams just to see what that style was. Because I'm like trying to come to terms with that fact that I'm just not going to be Andre and what I want to do. He sent Spags wholesales list from Opus. As a life rule, I don't take tips from Dan. I think outside of Netrunner tips, that's probably a good idea. I'm always amused by Rungi Doge and I at that's wild. Rungi Doge and I at what was it called? The 2020 summer, or maybe it was 2021 summer thing that Orbital. Wait, someone's playing Eternal and they're private? Off the grid. Thank you, Anarcho. That was like a sports metal Hive Mind Max, like CTM meta. And Dan hadn't played Netrunner in probably a couple of years, but was convinced to come to the event to hang out with friends. And someone just handed him the like Blame Changer Sports. And he just like I got paired against him. We were like 6 turns in, and then someone was like, "Hey guys, there's a repairing. End time hasn't started. What the fuck are you two doing?" And then he like flips his hand and says, "What's my line this turn?" And Rongi Doge and I, Ian, are like, "Oh no, you just like install advanced Audacity Vitruvius." And he's like, "No, this is the better line." And we're like, "Oh yeah, that is the better line." And so that was something. Oh, we got a Diogene deck. Wonder if this is going to be all green. This Diogene did that the other day to me. Hello, GLHF. This seems keepable. It's like borderline, but I think it's okay. Ooh. Can every corp just be Asa? Like, could we just agree that on turn 1 the corp gets 4 actions, but they can't score an agenda? Like, that would be fun, right? That'd be good for the game. I was actually debating putting together a Padma deck with Hippocampic Mechanocytes as a counter to the Vientine Healing Ag Infusion list. That would be sick, though. Hedge Fund, Managarm, Hedge. So I'm assuming we're going to lose the Managarm because it's the different card in that pile. I am never sad to see my opponent play a turn 1 Stargate. I think it is wrong basically every time. Oh, right. This is why I had Ice Wall, was because yesterday it was actually relevant that I had a 3-strength Ice Wall from wall-to-walling it twice. We're going to put this in server 1. Because now we can pay 5 credits to then make 2 credits back on our Managarm Skunkworks. And hopefully... And actually, the upside of doing that... Oh, wait. Oh, no. Hold on. Indicate action here, I think. I think I'm going to go... Wait, hold on. Hold on, please. I was indicating action. Okay, we're gonna do this silly play that is more. I think it's more fun than good. So we're gonna gain 2. We're going to search, and we're going to install an owl on R&D. And so now if our opponent really wants to Stargate, they can, but they shouldn't. Because they will lose their owl to, or they'll lose their Stargate to owl. So. No, I have to do this before you declare the run. Yeah, so I did actually, just in my defense, in the logs, you can see they install a Zenit chip, and I realized they're on click 3, and I go stop, and then do this trick. Okay, so we're going to draw a card, gain a credit, and add this advancement to HQ. Okay, so someone just said this game feels so different from the last. I beg to differ. Okay, so we're going to install Above the Law in Server 1. We're going to install Wall to Wall on a new remote. And we're going to click for a credit because I want to keep my agenda density sane. Not because I don't want to, because I don't have better econ operations available to me. There's a world where I could put a 1x Malapert in the list so that I could extract the Yakov to then make 2 extra credits, install the Malapert for free, score this Above the Law, and search for a card, like an Audacity. But I think we're just going to be the rudest person around, and we're going to crush a poor little Shaper's dreams. I think I'm going to discard the Hostile here. Owl's one of your favorite terrible cards. Yeah. So it was gonna... All right, we're gonna lose a Spin Doctor. The other argument for Ice Wall is that you can Yakov and get an end the run ice. Okay. So we res this Wall to Wall. We're going to draw a card, we're going to gain a credit, and we're going to place an advancement token on this piece of ice. Then we're going to install Afshar on HQ. We're going to install Rashida in Server 1. Then we're going to extract the Wall to Wall to install a Spin Doctor in a new remote. There we go. We're back in the game. Well, I was going to say fellas is a non-gendered pronoun, but it is most definitely not. Yeah, our opponent played a turn 1 Stargate, trashed a Managarm, and has otherwise had a brick sitting on their board. We get a Rashida Jaheim, so this Yakov has now made us 6 credits. So it's now a hedge fund. Oops, I should not have shuffled there, but that's fine. So can I go? I can't go install, advance, and do this setup, which is unfortunate. So we're gonna do a setup turn, I guess, of install over archives. And I think we're just gonna play a hedge fund. We've got 20 credits. That's a good number of credits. Yeah, we'll pop Spin Doctor. Let's put back a Spin Doctor and a face down Hostile. We are a little scared of Endurance, though. Oh, there it is. And a Flux. Okay, our opponent is finally setting up to run HQ. So let's or R&D. Okay, so let's do some setup for R&D, which I think is actually going Hostile Takeover in Server 1. Special offer in... no, let's just put the Sandstone on R&D. We can be cute with the special offer later. And if my opponent goes for the Hostile, that's okay. We have the option... My opponent has exactly 2 credits, and we have a special offer in hand. If they want to spend their 2 credits trashing a Spin Doctor, I don't think I mind. Yes, it technically gave them a boat counter, but they're going to be spending some time clicking up just to get their environmental testing to proc. I need a, what's it called, a Biofrost array to trigger a when scored ability on another piece of ice. Oh, this is a good call by them. Do I res this Afshar? Yes, because I want to start using up boat counters. This is one of the, like, this is a bad turn to talk about it, but I'm just like, this is what I mean by, like, ice really matters, because being able to res this, and yeah, I can't stop this run, but I'm proposing a lot of threats to the runner at any given point, and they didn't access my Oaktown, so that I even look better for getting on my high horse about this for the millionth time. I think this deck wants to find a way to play Malapert. I think. I don't love giving up a bad pub, but this is okay. Because it's just like, oh, if I could get some extra tempo off of these scores, I feel like that's what I want, but maybe that's too much win more. But I feel like the idea is if I get ahead, like I have these 20 credits, I want to find a way to leverage those as fast as possible. I almost wonder if you want to put like a Biotic Labor or something in this list. Like, cut the special offers for a Biotic Labor. Play a Malapert Data Vault. Big Deal is also an option for sure. Wait, so we just need to not hit our last Spin Doctor on this one. So opponent basically has to endurance through this and then nuke the owl, and they don't get to charge because their endurance has no counters. Rashida Jaheim, Azef Protocol, and Special Offer. So they are probably not going to do this run on Archives this turn because they would lose the Nanook. So I think what we do is we go install on server 1. We're going to advance. And I think I can put this special offer on R&D. Maybe I should put it on Archives. The reason to put it on Archives would be so that they don't have the option of getting the Azef Protocol. They could, in theory, I think, get this border control. Well, the Manigarm probably means they can't, because I can border control, cost them some clicks, grab a 3-cost Sandstone. But yeah, like, special offer, they have to spend 2 on the special offer here. Because otherwise, I think I just go and grab a Spin Doctor. Yeah, I'm actually okay to grab a Spin Doctor here. Yes, we're going to grab a Spin Doctor, put it in a new remote. So I don't think they have the money to go after this. Spin Doctor Azif. No, we don't need this hedge fund at all anymore. Yeah, it's like, maybe I do want to play the too big to fail package here. I don't know. And I actually don't need to pop my border control this turn, because I can do the Manigarm. Oh, that's a nice little side effect that I was not anticipating. Yeah, because they don't have 10 credits or 5 credits and 2 clicks. So, toggle, and we're going to go ask, and we're going to go continue to movement, and we're going to go no further actions. And now we have to order things correctly, and hopefully we get that right. I wonder if the prompt is bugged for them right now. I'm betting this is a forma carry question. That is correct. Yes, so there is no paid ability windows, which is what the trash can colon is an example of paid ability, of course. Now this is just going to end the run, which is a little bit of a bummer, but yes, there is also this. And on a future turn, when we trash this border control, we can... Hey, Andre, thanks for stopping by. Do you want to do that? You'll have to re-encounter the Manigarm. Yeah, so we're trying to score because everyone decided that the Netrunner was over because of... not gonna lie, I've toyed with the idea for... I know, this interaction, you're like, oh wait, I can do this. I could do this in ASA, and it would be so cool. But that's just like, it's a lot of influence, and I'm like, well, I have to play 2 of these. Should I just play an Anoetic Void instead? And I think that's why I built that Anoetic Void deck, was literally the same thought process. Okay, so we don't need a hedge fund here. We probably don't need a second Yakov. And now we just need a 3-2, of which we have another Ozef, 3 Atlases. So we've got 4 draws here. And if we don't find one, we'll just put Rashida in the remote, because I'm going to assume my opponent has some scoring. And we do see the downside of the nuke, where it has gotten no agenda points, which is pretty bad. Andre, this list is pure vegan rush. Currently what I'm finding, or what I was finding, was that World Tree Woo was too fast for the hybrid versions. Now it is probable that my hybrid version was just bad. How are we getting in here? We're not letting Owl fire, right? Are we letting Owl fire? I did actually flatline that on our last time in the last game. Yes. So yeah. So what I was finding was that the mutually assured combo lists. Is there something I'm missing? Oh, of course. Stone Chip Chart Room has other effects. Border control, envelopment, and extract. That's a bummer. So we could install Advance the Oaktown potentially. But I think install the Rashida is fine. And maybe we extract something. We probably extract the former carry for a 1-coster. Okay, sorry. I should finish this thought, which is... I was finding the mutually assured combo decks struggled a little bit excessively with bad draws against World Tree Woo. My hope is a deck that is more intensely focused. You know, score out in the remote this turn? No? Yeah, that's true. I just can. Yeah, it probably is just install Advance the Oaktown. I don't have enough reps against World Tree Woo. I'll be honest, I think most of your opponents won't have enough reps on World Tree Wu. Like, that deck is actually very challenging to pilot. Do I have a 2-coster I want to play? We're just going to put another Forma carry on server 1 here. Yeah, exactly, right? Now, technically, we just shuffled R&D, which can be bad for us. So, like, the Stargate could hit brand new targets. Which is definitely a downside. The envelopment from hand was good enough. Yeah, it's also true. Yeah, I think World Tree Wu is really big brain and also not that much better than some of the other runner decks. It's really exciting, and probably deserves a ban because I think it is... Well, okay. It is better than I think the other runner decks, but it requires a lot of thought. Like a ton of thought. And... I think it's just not worth it. Your hot take, Andre. Ban SMC? No, ban Wu. Ban Wu. World Tree is not a problem without Wu. Banning SMC, like, I actually don't even know if that stops Wu necessarily. Because the gameplay becomes, you play 2 World Trees now. You go useless program, you go World Tree, useless program, run a server, turn the useless program into another World Tree, and RFG the other World Tree. And the deck is, like, not worse. The other problem with banning SMC, I don't know how you beat sports. I don't know what stops Sports Metal from winning the game always, potentially. It's not, I mean, it's no more unreal. It's actually it's basically the same set of cards as SMC World to fetch your World Tree. Or it's very close. Stargate hitting 3/2s beat sports? Yes, that's true. So even if there was 6 points on the top of R&D, I don't think we lose there, because the runner's still not presenting a way to get back into R&D a second time. But it's like, oh, if the only thing sports has to worry about is Stargate and not Clot, I think you can make adaptations for that. I'm really curious what this looks like if we use, like, do we want a biotic labor instead of these special offers? And then we put in a Manic Arm, or not a Manic Arm, a Malapert. And we still have 16 ice. Maybe an ice wall, just so we have an extra 1-coster that does something. What's our cut here? We still haven't found or wanted to find a Zato grid, I think. But let's cut a hedge fund. And we'll play one more with this. I would be surprised if it never found a deck. 3 base strength is fairly solid. All right, thanks, Andre. And if you enjoy Marvel Champions, I've been the Nanook and Shapepock, I think, is where I would immediately think about Nanook going. Like, I think you play a super control Shapepock style with Nanook. And also you just sit with an SMC out. But also if we ever get other shaper tools that like don't, yeah, impish builds also seem good. Like I feel like there's gonna be ways to exploit Nanook. Though APOG isn't gonna be with us for much longer, so who knows? But thanks for the game. Might instead try 2x Spark. Well, that would be very, that would not surprise me. I was actually a little surprised that it wasn't running Spark already. Okay, let's go live. Okay, I know I said that was gonna be my last one, but that was a fun game with Op, and I'd like to get at least one more in, I think. Should I get the next album going? Oh, hey, GLHF. Can we keep this against a Kiko Nisei? Probably. We might just do a very slow start. Yeah, we're gonna do a very slow start. But anyway, sorry, I'm just checking some things. Okay. So we're gonna go server 1, advance. Okay, a little bit, yeah, pinhole NFL being. I wonder if you could somehow do the Imp Freedom build, but like, I guess here's a question that I'd love to hear other people's thoughts on, because I think, to me, the problem with the Drago Reality Plus list is the Drago Reality Plus synergy combined with the fact that the runner cannot actually steal agendas for most of the game. And I don't know what the right fix for that is. Because I have not been impressed. I have not felt like Drago in other decks is particularly unfair, I guess is a weird way to say it, right? Because the advancement counters are a real cost when you don't get the 2 credits back for giving the runner a tag. And so it's a bit of an open question to me. You know, am I rezzing this magnet ever? I should have honestly put this magnet somewhere else and then just extracted it so that I was playing a Corp Lucky Find. That's what I should have done. Oh, you know what? I am, because I can Zaro it. I would be grabbing a Forma Carry, which is not a good Zaro target because it gives the runner a choice. What 2-cost end the runs are there? Are there 2-cost end the runs? There have to be, right? Yeah, we're gonna let this one go. So I get, but going back to my Reality Plus question is, what's the smallest ban you can make to Ping. Yeah, ping's a little bit... Oh, wait, hold on. Actually, no, I need to be able to score, so we're all set. We lose a Spin Doctor, not great. Wraparound is 2-cost ETR and 1 strength, and some people aren't running stuff. Yeah, maybe that's not a terrible call. IP block, but that doesn't have a heart on the run, so has the same problem. Yes, we'll install a border control on server 1, I think. We'll hit a stone ship and a telework. So I think we're going to go credit, credit. Maybe we're... No, I think we want all... So I guess we're trashing the magnet here. Which is a bit of a bummer, but... Ooh, Conduit's good here. They get a full turn of charging it up. Alright, so I'm definitely going to want to get this Owl Resible. And they're going to see a lot of cards here. And we had so many credits, and then they all disappeared because we paid 5. Actually, we really want to make sure we don't search right away. So I think it's the, like, we don't search, we res the Owl and play the second extract, and that breaks the lock, potentially. Oh yeah. Go ahead and redo the run. No, it's fine. Yeah, forgetting to hit Conduit, even world champs do it, so definitely not gonna... Whitespace and Thimble Rig are also 2 costs on the runs. Thimble Rig actually is maybe the right call. I like the Thimble Rig shout out. That seems possibly quite good. There's the Oaktown run out. Oh geez, that's a rough turn for us. Credit, credit. You know what? HQ's just not going to be relevant. We're either going to be scoring... Yeah, HQ's just irrelevant. So that's actually, I think, our least valuable ice. This turn we res the Owl, put down the Ice Wall. We play like a hedge fund. Or maybe we purge even. But the bounce back to 9 is pretty nice here. And yeah, if we didn't have this magnet on the board, we're actually much richer. Opponent's in a very good spot, though. I'm not optimistic about our chances here. We're getting conduited very heavily. GG. Well, that was a quick one. Turns out medium wins games sometimes. Indeed. Eh. Oh, I guess this is 12 points in the top 19 cards. But not that unlikely, I guess. Yeah. Hey, I mean, this is what you get when you run like 20 agendas, right? Like you just lose this way, or 11 agendas, so you like lose this way a good chunk of the time. Nope. Just score it. Just rush with FA finish. Yeah, I feel like the magnet mistake, the not going magnet envelop extract was a big deal, because getting the owl threat down earlier is potentially interesting, and then we draw the ice wall and can install it, so like we actually stall out an extra turn. But yeah. For the game, well played. It's fun to see early pressure rewarded. And I think that DZMZ made like 3 credits, which is pretty good. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, the game inherently is luck-based, right? That's what I'm going to tell myself so that I don't blame the fact that I'm just not good at Netrunner anymore, at least. Arguably, I never was, but okay. This is FF and is it Post? It wasn't Postus. It was Tuck to Guts. Yeah. Just run government takeover, believe in the heart of the cards. Yeah, exactly. James, have you been, I don't recognize your name, but have you been playing Netrunner a while? I'm always curious how many people are like longtime people or returning or whatever. And I also don't know many I've been playing Netrunner for a long time, but wasn't in the like scene for a while, so I don't know a lot of the names. Hey, Pouch Surfer, thanks for the game. That was I think that was one of those games where I think it's like it was really interesting how like I made one serious ice place, like made one serious mistake on a turn, and Conduit just blew me open in a way that was really cool to see. So okay, very nice, James. Glad to have you around. I am getting pinged. All right. Cool. Sorry, just do. Oh no, it's all good, Pouch Surfer. I don't mind at all. So the owl on R&D was fine. The mistake was installing the second ice on the remote and then clicking for a credit. What I should have done, because it was a magnet, what I should have done was install the magnet on archives and extracted it just for the money. So basically playing a lucky find, a bad lucky find, to be honest. And then that would have given me the credits to res the owl on the first conduit turn, and then install the ice wall on the second conduit turn. And my remote was still pretty safe with the BC. Because like you couldn't really get the BC. I would have a sandstone in my deck probably, and I had a Zato grid behind there. So like it was going to be tricky to break the remote, I think. And so like managing your econ is just a really important part of the game, especially when you're trying to rush like that. And the other alternative, instead of forcing the agenda score, I could have actually moneyed up instead of making myself really vulnerable, which is maybe what the right play was as well. Maybe even the better play. So, knowing when you need to do something that seems suboptimal in a vacuum because you need tempo is one of the hard. Yeah, it's the thing I'm actually struggling the most with in Netrunner right now is I think I've lost my understanding of tempo. And one of the really interesting exercises when I played when I played against Tuno, playing this Asa group versus Val deck, I forgot that the tempo of the game was very different. And so I was playing fully op for credits a lot, which is just wrong in that deck. You're a combo deck, so you play fully op for as many draws as you can possibly get away with, being prepared to dump your entire hand if you absolutely need to. But also, these turns are so... yeah, that's true. If you don't see 5 agendas in the top 10, I install the ice wall, I extract the owl, shuffling all of R&D, and can start going to the town, I think. So it's tricky. Or I res the Zato, extract it, grab a 2-coster. There would be plays I'd have. But yeah, we played 5 games. The longest one was 10 turns, which is kind of a wildly different game. Like, this is what Violet Level Clearance and Rashida and Fully Operational did to the meta back then. No, sorry about that. Was explaining something to stream on another panel. This hand seems bad for Asa. This hand also seems bad for Asa. And oh, we played Killabot like a week or 2 ago. This means Fast Advance or just regular Rush Fair Netrunner. So we're just playing, maybe that's what I should have called the stream, Fair in air quotes Netrunner. Because that's been a topic of discussion going around a lot today. Or this week, I should say. Okay. So we're having a typical stream game. I need to go find Noah and just be like, please, just once, can we seed my RNG so that I don't only draw agendas, please. I mean, I get this is why people run GFIs a lot, right? Because it's really good. This is wild though. I'm like, should I play Rashida here, or should I just try and like install an off-world behind a piece of ice? Wait, this isn't gonna work though. They don't get to sell the no free lunch because it's the first time each turn you make a successful run. Okay. I wasn't expecting World Tree Ken, I'm gonna be honest. Fuck? What? Okay, so we have drawn 9 points in 9 cards. The actual average should be, what, 20 divided by 49? So like half an agenda point. I am intrigued. That I love how far, like, you had to, intrigued is spelled so differently from Kentrigued, but it somehow still works because English is kind of amazing. Man, if our opponent wasn't playing World Tree Woo, we would. What is this? What is actually happening to me? We've got 15 ice and 9 agendas, and we have drawn 1 ice and 4 agendas. Like, the universe is just out to get me. Yeah, that must be it, VK. JNet just didn't shuffle my deck. I mean, we have to res this. We literally have no choice but to res this. Okay, so are we getting Class Act here? I feel like that's the one to get. Class Act for 1 does seem pretty good. Yep. And we didn't even draw. We just, like, clicked for a credit, installed World... No, we just installed World Trade, clicked for a credit, bravadoed, and then got a Class Act. I mean, if that's not sick, I don't know what is. Okay, so there is no way we draw more agendas here. Let's go. Okay, so we can't actually play enough cards here for it to make a difference. And our opponent is going to run click 1 at this remote. Guaranteed. Absolutely guaranteed. What we're actually going to do is we're going to overdraw here. And we're going to dump 2 agendas back. And now the flood is gone. How does the song go? The rain is gone. Da 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 da. We can breathe again. Okay, flip switch, Wari, Carpe Diem, getting archives. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. Thank you. Okay, 4 points back in the deck. Opponent's going to turn this into a penny shaver, I would guess. A boomerang. Okay. Well, like I said, they're going to be able to get in. Okay. Yep. We just didn't really have any choices, so... but now we get to go install the off-world, install a gatekeeper with Asa, advance the off-world, and put a spin doctor in a new remote. You know what? We just went from having 4... I was going to say we went from having 4 agendas in hand to no agendas in hand with only losing 2 points, but the universe decided to laugh at me. So I think it's advance, spin doctor, and a new remote. But we are starting to see more clearly, and the rain may be going, the flood may be going away. So, but yeah. Well, we are getting to practice against some World Tree. I think this is maybe not quite as aggressive. Oh! You know, I maybe should have noticed a 50... No, what is this going to be? This is 60... Wait. 2, 9, 3... This is a 65 hard runner deck? Yeah, okay. Amakua makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Okay, so this is 65, and we must be playing Ken purely for the influence. Runner can't trash this. I don't want to deny the Amakua counter that badly. And I don't terribly need the draw right now because I'm going to draw off of Nico campaign and then score the off-world office. We'll see where we go from there. Let's switch up the music just a little bit because I think we've gone through this album once or twice. Otherwise, Az is clearly the better World Tree candidate. Why would Az be the better candidate? Just because you get discounts on hardwares? Is that the idea? I could maybe see that. But I think the extra influence is not insignificant when you're playing a heavy influence card, right? This is... Why is World Tree 4? What were the playtesters thinking? What are the cheap connections you can play? Like Hernando Cortez, I guess? You're not going to play like Louis Goumet or whatever, right? What's his Alright, so this Amakua is going to become a real problem for us. Oh, we trashed a class act. I was like, we didn't trash a penny shaver, did we? No, we trashed... Yeah, trashing a class act for a class act is quite good. Yeah, that's who I'm thinking of. Guillarme? Brolic? Bachlan? Nuka... The problem with Nuka is it's like install, click, to gain 3 cards, and then you World Tree it. I guess you're not paying a credit, so like that's not a terrible exchange, but... let's res this. Okay. I think what we do is we go Maryland behind a gatekeeper, Fairchild on R&D, and Gaslight in server 4. And then at some point we're going to protect archives with another piece of ice. Bones is, you're right, Sad Stug, a very good target. You probably play 2 of them. I'm just not sure that World Tree Crim makes as much sense to me as World Tree Shaper. Well, I also don't think World Tree makes much sense to me outside of Woo. Like, I think you can play it and it will be fun, but I think it will struggle. Louis Guilherme is going to be my last attempt at saying that, I think. Ooh, spicy Mad Dash. I mean, yeah, shit. World Tree is meant to be a fun card, but Woo makes it way too consistent. I mean, I think World Tree is like, if you can make it work in the future, like even out, if you can make it work outside of Woo, the payoff is really high, right? Yeah, cycling Class Axe though is like pretty good. Oh, interesting. We're getting a daily cast. I guess we do need the money. And losing the Gaslight's not ideal, but, you know, you do what you can do. This deck should almost certainly have a single, too big to fail, right? I feel like it really should. World Tree just to make Tremolo playable. I know, it's like, it's funny, like, we were all kind of, I feel like as a community we were kind of high on Tremolo. Even coming out of playtesting where I was like, I think this card's bad, I like looked at it again, I was like, no, this card's good. And I'm like, oh no, actually this card's bad. We need like, yeah, Woo's ability to pull programs directly from the deck just makes it feel well oiled. Yeah, indeed. Like, you could basically never miss a World Tree trigger, which is a big deal. Guilherme, allegedly, is Portuguese. Guilherme. Guilherme is probably how the helpful phonetics you wrote for me should be read. Bones is going to be an interesting challenge for us. I think just a purge is fine here. And then what card do I probably not need? I actually might be okay on money. He says, counting up and realizing this is already 10, 22 ice, and I only have 18 credits. I guess I have another fully op in hand, so we're gonna like fully op, advance, do something. Probably install the Manic Arm. Yeah. Ooh, Mayfly. We are all in on the AI breakers. I'm curious if Regalis is better than Nico in this deck. I think the way this deck is playing, probably not. I think the advantage of something like a Nico campaign is Regalis cheat. I think the advantage of a Nico campaign is you can leave it in a remote and keep putting other threats on the board rather than like trying to. Because like if I'm spending my entire turn clicking a Regalith, I'm pretty unhappy, I think, generally as the corp. And this is going to become a breaker now. This interaction is super cool. Oof, that interaction, not wild about that one. If I draw another piece of ice, I'm probably icing HQ here, I think. Okay, so we're actually going to go draw 2 cards. Gain 2 credits, gain 2 credits. Let's ice HQ up. Do I just trash the magnet? Let me think here. Is it worth the credit to me to cost the runner a credit? At this board state, probably. Um, yeah, so Power Surfer, I can't. I'm real like playtesters are really told not to talk about what we didn't playtest and what we did or didn't see coming. Tremolo, I probably shouldn't have made any comment about technically. So I can't really comment. I think your observation that the cards are really expensive with really powerful effect, both Endurance and World Tree are really expensive, but have really powerful effects, is like a thing that does make them quite difficult to test. My opponent just gonna single me off of R&D. That's real determination here. I guess you also get the daily cast into another class act trigger. Yeah, Tremolo with just 2 cards you might want to play anyway. Oh no, it's totally fine, Power Surfer. It's totally fine. Ooh, that was a good shuffle. Okay, so now we go Seamless, Advance. Yeah, we definitely want a fast advance tool. I'm not sure if it's Big Deal or Biotic Labor. It's probably Big Deal, I think. Like a Big Deal Gaslight, and we cut a slot somewhere in here, I think. But I don't know what that is. It's like maybe a Nico campaign or something. We bring you this NBN special report. Sorry to hear that, Gordon. I have a different opinion about it, and I'm gonna be defensive about them. So like, honestly, if you're gonna tell me that they're broken and don't make Netrunner fun, like, I don't have a response to that other than saying, I'm sorry you're not finding Netrunner fun. I'm actually enjoying Borealis for the most part. I think World Tree Woo is a little bit, you know, it's tricky, and it's just, hopefully this isn't the meta forever, because even though I like this meta, it's definitely not for everyone and shouldn't be forever. Yeah, I mean, like, it's tricky because no one's playing like super try-hard decks, but there's some cool stuff we're doing. Next activation command doing some nice little pull here where we can't lose on R&D here now. Yeah, it's interesting. Draco's an interesting one, for sure. Like, it is a very interesting card. I think, to me, the biggest challenge is the synergy with Reality Plus and the all 5/3s agenda suite, and Bologna. It's like the synergy of 3 cards that like are, well, 2 of those cards are really powerful. One of them is a really good support for the specific endurance. Or it's not endurance, excuse me. Let me gather my thoughts. So, the Drago, Bologna, Reality Plus synergy is very, very oppressive. And because the Corp loses 0 tempo, advancing the Drago, hey Jake, thanks. I'm glad you have been enjoying the content. Did I forget to put Rashida in? No way, I forgot to put Rashida in, right? Oh, thank goodness. That's what I get for copying. Yeah, I mean, this is like our opponent's just completely dead, and then we just get to wreck him with an Ansel here. I think I think I care more about this Amakua, probably. And we're going to install Rashida in servers in a new remote. Find a gatekeeper. Um, yeah, the tag with no interaction is an issue. I guess here's the thing I always think about is we played with breaking news for a really, really long time. And Drago can't actually kill in situations where breaking news couldn't. It actually can kill in fewer situations than breaking news can. So it's really interesting to me how strong the reaction is to Drago versus breaking news. And it's not saying it's a defense of the card. Like, very clearly there are some issues with the current meta. But just because there are pain points, I don't think means things are completely broken. I think that, to me, breaking news often could just, like, it just won the game on the spot. But SIU wasn't banned because it was broken. SIU was banned because they were trying to avoid banning a different deck that had almost no interaction points. Did my opponent call this exactly correct? Did they just soul read me? Oh, no, wait, no, they can't actually break this Gatekeeper. Never mind. I was like, holy moly. Wait. They can't use non-icebreaker cards to break subroutines. Boomerang does nothing. Woo! We got there. We got there. We also actually didn't need to trash Amakua, I'm realizing, because Border Control got us there, too. Okay, so this is Test Run Fem as a secondary target for World Trade. That's super cool. I do kind of agree that, like, the Drago... Drago that trashed itself on use, but could give any number of tags based on, like, 2 per advancement, or 2 per, is probably interesting. I also think, like, if you take Reality Plus out of it, like, it's like a weird thing, where, like, what are we doing here? How are we getting through? Because we can't spend 12 credits. Okay. Well, I mean, this is just rude, I guess, but... GG. Cool deck. Yeah, Test Run Fem Concerto is we have Stim Hack at home. Yeah, it really is. Yeah, I guess you actually have Stim Hack now. That's really cool. But, like, I think, like, having seen seen Drago in, like, Asmari lists and CTM lists, like, it just felt pretty fair. It's really the Reality Plus making the advancements completely free that has felt pretty out of whack to me. And yeah, World Tree Woo sets up too fast. Like, there are very clearly challenges with the meta. I don't think that actually makes the meta bad. But I also understand that people have other opinions. I'm not trying to tell you not to have those opinions. I'm just going to tell you I'm pretty enthusiastic about this meta. I'm really looking forward to this weekend. I think the Snare Bearers put out some really good decks. I think Sokka and the King brought some good decks. I thought the other decks that Unbanned members brought were fun. Yeah. It would have sped you up a few, like, touch, which maybe snowballs in this sort of game. So I want to see more of the Az. Yeah, that is a rough matchup for the Az. I was a little surprised to see them take the Az list into the sports medal. I think there's going to be a lot of the Ag Infusion lists, but I'm not sure. I think Reality Plus is gonna be pretty. Here, the other thing with Reality Plus that's really weird to me is everyone agrees it's not favored against 419, which is a deck that is broadly good against most of the field. And so it's this weird thing where to me we're like, oh yeah, this Reality Plus deck, it destroys untech runners and runners who don't know what they're doing. But at mid to high tables, it's like a 40% matchup at best. And I'm like, I don't know that every corp deck is 40% against arguably the best runner deck in the format. So it's this weird thing where I'm not entirely convinced that people are following the full logic chain there. But also, I'm not really playing competitively right now, so I'm not the best person to take for that. So, yeah, I don't know. Let's do another game of that ASA before we make any changes. But yeah, I suspect it's really interesting. I think if Fight Night hadn't happened, we would not see a lot of sports metal, because I have not heard people talking about sports metal. I've not seen people playing sports metal, and I suspect this performance at Fight Night is going to like bring it right back to the top, which I think is really interesting. Maybe I have a misperception, but like my sense was people were not very high on sports, and then it cleaned up. I think actually surprisingly so. I don't think it's actually that good against World Tree Woo, which is a very tricky thing to sleeve up for a tournament deck. And that might be where Ag Infusion and Reality Plus are both kind of solid decks, is I think they have reasonable game plans against World Tree Woo. I've heard people talk about playing sports metal in the context of playing sports instead of Fool. So let me see does anyone have the deck lists for Fight Night immediately at their fingertips? I'm trying to see if I have them posted somewhere. But if someone else has them, that would be great. Here we are, Fight Night. So I think that if I'm remembering correctly, the King's sports medal. Oh no, this is Sokka's, right? No, this is the King's. Okay, where it's like Mr. Hendrick, Nightmare Archive, and a 1x Hypoxia with news teams are like the way you just take. If you can give the runner 2 core damage, suddenly you have 2 2/2s in your list, which is really, really good. And so this is the Thule, but in sports metal, because the idea is that sports metal is way more tempo, and Thule just lacks any money. Did anyone see the Reality Plus Rig Shooter deck? That was really interesting for the meta. I don't know that I have. My concern with Rig Shooter is both Anarch and Shaper, because I feel like there's enough simul-chip around, and all the bin breakers make it tricky. But I'm actually just kind of curious. Okay. Yeah, I think Thule is like, if you're trying to play super competitively, it's gonna be worse than most of your other HB options. But I don't think that means it's a failure as an ID. And then I think this is one of the things that's I think different about Borealis design than Ashes design. It to me felt, and I wasn't playtesting for Ashes, and I don't know what the design intent was for Ashes. To me, it felt like the Ashes cards were meant to be competitive cards. Pouch Surfer and Chris, remind me to get back to your comments. And Gordon, I think the card you're thinking of is shoot, what's the name of the card? Well, now I'm just getting so distracted I'm never going to finish any thoughts. Hello. It's Arc Lockdown is the card you're thinking of that removes stuff from the game, and is definitely a relevant one. Ooh, this should be fun. I think this is a keeper, though. Do I put this Fairchild on HQ? If I do, I think that just turns 4/1/9 off for most of the game, right? Okay. We're just going to do this. We will pay 1, and we will install the... ooh, wait, hold on. Sorry, I put my ice in the wrong places. Mind if I swap them? Swap ice. A sick command, super useful when playtesting DAO. Anyway. Whereas, so it felt to me like, I know like Hyobu is like a joke and unplayable, but GameNet was designed to be playable. Earth Station seems like it was designed to be like good. Like the idea seems like it's trying to be tuned to be like a competitive deck. And what did HB get? Oh, Architects Tomorrow. Okay, Architects Tomorrow is a little bit more of an engine-y, janky deck. But it felt like this set was like designed to be like, this is like, we want to make cards that are competitive focused. And I think there's more cards in Borealis that were like, let's do, sorry, not Architects of Tomorrow, Mirror Morph. Okay, so I think the play is something like Gaslight in a new remote. I can show you the Gaslight because I don't care. We'll put down a Vitruvius in server 1. And then we're going to draw 2 cards. We're going to draw 2 more cards, and then we're going to gain 2 credits, and then we're going to discard a second Fairchild 3 because we're not doing it. Okay. That's really cool, Ixaron. I look forward to it because I should definitely play some cubes that are not the most powerful possible cube. I'm trying to think, because if I don't res Gaslight, I get to go with 3-trigger fully op, but it probably is res... Oh, res the Gaslight for Falsified. Oh, yeah, that's a good call. We're going to res this, but not use it, I think. No, we're going to use it. What am I talking about? Let's go get a Seamless launch. Now we can go Seamless, Advance, Score... And I think we're going to just get rid of the Ansel. Because I think our next turn is something like Luminal in the remote in our border control. Actually, maybe in the Gatekeeper remote. So go Luminal, border control in the Gatekeeper, install the Drafter on R&D, and then fully op a second time. And we'll... Actually, no. We should do it with the off-roll. Because I actually need the 7 credits way more than I need. No, never mind. Whole plan changed because I drew a Maryland. Okay. Oops, that's, this should not go into remote, though. Zomba. Whenever a quick card's exposed, gain 1. Okay, this goes in server 2. This goes in server 1. Oh, I guess. Then we're going to draw 2 cards and gain 4 credits. This is 7. We score. Maryland keeps us neutral. It's tricky here. But we probably have some combination of Border Control Fairchild 3 that makes their life pretty difficult. Just install both agendas, easy. Yeah, if only Luminal didn't have a you cannot score agendas for the remainder of the turn clause, and just said, like, you can't advance agendas for the remainder of the turn. I think I will res the Border Control here, because that costs 2 credits effectively, which is very nice for us. Okay, and then there was something I was supposed to get back to with Chris saying, I love there are some competitive decks for every faction right now. Just, I'm less happy that several of them don't have scoring as their main goal. And I think that's true. That's why I made this. But I mean, there's a reason this stream is what it is, where I'm just trying to play good reg Netrunner, just to see how it feels. I want to see how viable that is. Look, there was some absolutely... I think Luminal is by far the strongest 3-2. Oh, I want to tell this story. I don't think I'm allowed to. I gotta ask someone if I can do a, like, we're 2 years out from Gateway. Can I open up a console idea for Shaper that is literally never going to happen because it got broken 10 ways to Sunday? I forgot to res my Maryland. Jeez. Oh wait, I can. Well, whatever. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna res. We're gonna go +2, and we're gonna just go counter 6. Sorry, don't know where my brain is today. Ob is basically a mini fact at this point. Little outfit is the Wayland deck. I mean, yeah, I completely agree that Ob is its own faction and probably will be for the rest of Netrunner's history. Or while it's legal in Standard, I think it will be. Can I be the greediest SOB around? We lose so hard to doof paperclip here, it is kind of hilarious. Let me just, yeah. Maybe I'll go back to doing some set design. I'll finish off that set that we were sort of designing right before Parhelion was spoiler season started. And I can slip in a couple of Gateway playtest cards that got cut because they were OP. Because they were some fun-ass nonsense. I don't want to res this drafter here. That actually loses me the game. Yeah, this is definitely not... I gotta say, I was shocked at how many of y'all watch the VODs. Like, I was completely blown away how many of you guys watch the VODs. It's not like it's actually worse than a normal video for me, but like, it's like the amount of work I spend is way less, so it's kind of interesting to me. Gordon, how do I see my predictions for Borealis with Metropole Grid going? Did my opponent get us? They did not. We just re-res the border control. And then we're going to res the second Maryland campaign. And our opponent has to think for quite a while here while I discard 5 cards. Maybe tomorrow I'll try and remember to finish editing my video so that I can get that out for real. Okay, now we're going to go grab the seamless launch and score out. Well, not score out, but, you know, at least score some points. And now we've got money, so we're all set. Now we just need to draw agendas without the runner stealing them. But Gordon, how do we see my predictions with Metropole Grid going? For the most part, I'm pretty happy with them. Obviously, there's going to be a couple of misses, but also, like, I have the advantage of of having played with the cards before. And like I really enjoy playtesting, and like honestly, part of the reason I've been having a hard time with making Netrunner content is we're pretty busy doing some playtesting at the moment. I don't think I'll get in trouble for saying that much. Do I pay 1 to deny the runner a credit? I think so. I think denying them the Sure Gamble access is a big deal. Okay, put this on R&D. And we can put this Eli on Archives, I guess. So like playtesting is eating up a lot of my Netrunner bandwidth, and then there's also like, oh, I have to get ready to run the CBI, and like there's just a lot I'm trying to juggle. And then also, of course, I also have a real life that I have to deal with sometimes. Because while as much as I love Netrunner streaming, as much as I do make it my life, it can't actually afford to live by being a Netrunner content creator. So, oh good, we didn't just lose off at the top of R&D here. No point to resing here, unless we're gonna get emergency shutdown again, which would be honestly pretty sick if we get shutdown a second time. I would enjoy that. En passant, even better. Oh, this is such a beautiful runner deck. This is like classic. My mom asked me if anybody played Netrunner full time. Andre, I think, is the closest to playing Netrunner full time of anyone in the world, which is pretty interesting. Because there's literally no money in the tournament scene, so it's super hard to actually make anything resembling a living off of it. We'll just put back a Rashida and a Fairchild 3, I guess. We'll go server 2 and a second border control. We'll pay 1 because I still don't want them doing that. Okay, so fully operational gets me 4 triggers, so it is a 1 credit gain 5, which is better than any hedge fund is going to be. And then we can just install on HQ again. And should be simple from here, I think. And we didn't get flooded. So this is not the game where we needed to not get flooded, I think, but we did not get flooded, which is a nice change of pace. One thing I should also do is probably look at what the actual watch times are, because YouTube, I'm discovering, is very liberal with what it calls a view, which makes sense, obviously. They want to be very liberal with that. It's to their advantage. They can have a 5th credit here. Consider taking that card and a Vitruvius and replacing them with Elvigar. Oh, that's an interesting idea, Chris. I like that. I wonder if what you should actually do is replace the Off-World Office with 2 Elvigar. Because you can still sneak a 3-2 by a little bit more often. Wait, is this plus 2 MU? Yeah, I think a view starts at like 1 to 3 seconds of playback on the YouTubes. Yeah, I think that's... Judging by like view times, that has to roughly be what it is. Like, I know my view graphs just like... 70% of my views are less than 30 seconds long. So it's like very clearly what it counts as a view is extremely liberal. Okay, YouTube is more stable than Twitch. That's good to know. I am actually seeing the numbers, like they bounce between each other a little bit. Interesting to see that slightly more people are going to YouTube. Yeah. Bravado will help if you're not on that, as will falsified credentials. Yeah, because like if we're seeing like worries and Cubans, I mean like this is a very kind of classic I want to play fun cards deck, which is totally like this is a great way to play Netrunner, and I do mean that genuinely. So I'm glad someone's building this expose run kind of engine. Yeah. What time is it? It is 9 o'clock. I feel like I've been streaming for an extra hour and I have not. Oh, of course. Yeah, Ashes is legal in Standard for eternity, it seems. Yeah. I have the turtle in 4192. That's true. Yeah, I'm trying to think there was... That's true. There are some banned ones. Yeah, Engram Flush. What a wild card. Actually, I think it's really interesting. When we look at what cards are going to get banned, I think, from Ashes, and comparing those to what cards are most likely going to get banned from Borealis, it's like the cards from Ashes that get banned are these, like, utility, like, overly tuned cards of Engram Flush and Gold Farmer and Kayambe Grid, where they're trying to be, like, a cornerstone little piece. They're trying to be this, like, they're not really meant. Well, Kayame Grid is maybe the exception. It is a win condition, but Gold Farmer and Engram Flush are just meant to be like efficient ice, and they were just like too good. The numbers were just too much. But I think if we see, I think at some point we're going to see cards from Borealis get banned. I think maybe Wu is going to bite the bullet for World Tree. Endurance, I think, is I think Endurance is not quite as oppressive as it seems, but I would still put even odds on Endurance getting banned within a year. But I suspect like stuff like Drago, Endurance, World Tree are like all in the conversation to get banned, but it's also very clear that the set was designed with the idea of these are some high power centerpieces, and they can meet, like, banning those isn't saying, oh, we can't play that faction anymore. It's just like what's the word I'm looking for? Like we something was explored and it just didn't quite make the cut. Okay, so what are we cutting for our last slot? Maybe it's a Nico campaign, and we'll put in 2 Elvigars. I think that, so the reason to maybe play a fast advance tool over the bifurcations is that we are running global foods. So we do have 3 agenda scoring patterns, which the Elvigar isn't going to fit into when we have Biotic Labor as an option. David, what are the ban likely centerpieces? I mean, so I want to be very, very clear as I say this. I am not on SBT. I have no voice in SBT. I don't even really playtest for SBT. I really just playtest for set development. So I have no insider knowledge here and no idea. Like, this is just me as a player, not as someone who has any, like, knowledge. I don't think that there are the centerpieces I would look at. In Crim, it's going to be the 419 flip-flop, because 419 is such a strong ID. And you can't ban Amakua, I think, without completely changing the whole game. I'm trying to think if there's other Crim cards you can plausibly ban, because I don't think you can ban Bravado or the Class Act. Diversion of funds is not worth a ban. Maybe the card you ban to hurt Crim... Like, there's just not, I think, a centerpiece criminal card that can be banned that has a huge impact, because Criminal, I think, is playing a very fair version of Netrunner, and it's really just that 419 is oppressive to the middle tables. And I think that's the thing to Begalter. Yeah, you could ban Begalter, probably. Make people play Revolver, make people play... I mean, it's tricky. We get to Anarch. I actually think Anarch is mostly in the same place. I don't think there's much you could ban in Anarch that doesn't, like... I don't think there's a centerpiece consensus Anarch card. It's like, yeah, if I want to ban a centerpiece card for those, arguably I ban the Endurance, right? Which says something about how the Endurance is getting used. And then when you look at Shaper, it's like, yeah, I mean, people always want to ban SMC. People hate SMC. I love SMC, and I don't think it's the right ban. I think if you ban SMC, you're just telling everyone who likes to play Shaper to get fucked. And I don't like that kind of stuff. Like, you can do it, and sometimes it's the right call, but it's just not a thing I think is it wouldn't be my first approach when there are other options. Yeah, Gordon, I completely agree. Crim is mostly fair at the moment because it has a finite tempo. Yeah, I think if you wanted to, like, completely crush the runner metagame, you ban Fermenter right now. Which is kind of wild. I think Fermenter's doing a ton of work. Endurance Crim totally runs out of gas. Like, I actually, like, this is the thing, and I do this literally every stream. Endurance cares so much about ice. Like, it's not even funny. And I really, like, it really bothers me when people are like, Endurance invalidates ice, and it's like, no, Endurance does something different to ice, but hey, we just played. Would you mind giving someone else a turn? I'm live on Twitch / YouTube if you want to watch. Endurance invalidates ice strength. That I agree with. That is totally fair, and that's a criticism I think is completely completely fair. Femme Fatale, by comparison, I just don't get how Endurance is costed fairly in the same universe. It's a console, and it's meant to be pushed. Like, and also, Femme Fatale has been unplayable for years, so I'm not sure, like, oh yeah, this card was unplayable, this card is playable, therefore it's broken, I don't think is necessarily logic I agree with. But Richard G, does Wu really need to get banned? I think so. I'm not. It's not convincing. Like, we haven't seen any tournament results that tell us that. And I heard like by word of mouth that, like, people tried to play World Tree Wu at an in-person event, and it just went to time every round, so it lost a bunch of games because of that. So, Richard, I think one of the problems is that World Trade Woo is pretty decent against Rush. Okay, so do I trust that I draw another piece of ice, or do I play this like a sane person? I think I have to play this like a sane person. Or I just sack my ace at tempo turn 1. Would banning a system gateway identity R+ ever be an option? I don't know. It actually would probably be what I might advocate for. Ugh. Brutal. Yeah, and Argo, I think that's also a good point. I do think, like, World Tree... I think it's interesting, because, like, while I agree with the general sentiment, like, World Tree Woo is a little much, I think, even for me. Oh boy, that was a bad green level clearance. Holy smokes. Oh my goodness, was that a bad green level clearance? We're so dead. Runner can just run HQ 4 times here and win. Oh, goodness me. Steelskin scarring MK Ultra. Hot Pursuit. This is Tag Me Freedom. Holy moly, Tag Me Freedom. Let's go. That's sick. Okay, well, double border control is basically exactly what we want here. So we're gonna go R&D, server 3, click for a credit, because we could pop Spin Doctor and yada yada yada, but that's for losers. Yeah, I do think runner running click 1 on HQ here is like a serious problem for us, potentially. There comes the rogue trading. Wait, we have such a mean turn if they click this rogue trading. Okay, they're not doing it because they're smart. Darn my opponents being good at the game of Netrunner. It really makes my streams more challenging. Score. And now I think what I do is I go Off-World Office, advance, and scare them off of running it all. Cool. Okay. Well, it's a good thing we're scoring an Off-World Office. Because, once again, we are playing an ASA game for the second time today where we have drawn 15 points of agendas in 19 cards. I am actually pretty sure we did exactly that earlier today. I wonder if Liza will come back with more tag punishment in the game? No, Liza will not come back. Liza is never coming back, and that is a promise I can make. That ID is so unbelievably effed. It is kind of wild. Okay, so the question is, do I have the econ to GFI advance? I think I do. I think we just do this. When all you get is agendas, that's what you're gonna do. And we're gonna centralize around it a little bit. Okay, so I would like to have had my ice in the other order here, but... Okay, so I can res the Fairchild 3. I cannot res anything else. Runner will not get through because of the last subroutine. How the brain works. And they can't win off of R&D because we have almost all of our agendas. right? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we have another GFI and one. I thought we had 10 agendas in this list. No, we only have 9. Okay. We will end the run here. So if our opponent plays Black Orchestra here, we are so sad. Okay, so we cannot actually lose the game, which feels good. Now, our opponent got sort of smoked by it being unlucky, but Jishu, just a quick comment on the restricted list. GG. My issue with the restricted list is it's basically a ban list. Because, or at least that's how it worked under FFG. And the only proposal I've seen that makes the restricted list just a soft ban list where you get to keep the most powerful card and you just ban like 3 other supporting cards is one where you make multiple pools of restricted lists, and the deck building complexity that adds is so enormous as to make, I think, the game just completely unapproachable in standard. And I just it's real tricky. Oh, the Boggs Era MWL didn't work. It's like, it's fine that people can prefer it, it just doesn't work. Oh, Shishu, I think there's some complex deck building where there's multiple pools could be really good for people that are really invested in the game. But part of the idea of Netrunner under Null Signal is that you're able to onboard new people into the game. And the more complex you make deck building and the more rules you add to it, it's just tricky. Yeah, David, I think that's basically, honestly, I think that's basically the correct approach for managing a community card game. If your pool is incredibly small and you're trying to like leech as much life out of a static card pool, doing complex things with bans, restrictions, pools is a good way to actually improve the lifetime of your format. But if you want to onboard people and you want to get people continuing to play, the ban list is the simplest way to do it for the most return. And that's, I think, why NSG has landed on it. And I think it makes a lot of sense. I also want to give a quick shout out. Solemn Storm is in my meta and has been jamming in this Mari. I'm actually really interested to see if it's able to hold. It's doing some very cool stuff. Ixaron, it just doesn't. Like, this is the thing. Like, you go back to those era lists, and it's just like, I mean, so if you're putting 5 influence in everything, there's 2 possible outcomes. 1, the card is banned because no one can play it. 2, the card is still so good that it just gets played in faction so that you save the X influence on the card. And this is what we saw with Anarch lists at the time. They played 3 influence or 4 influence of real cards and 11 influence or something like that of Anarch cards. Like, it was wild how much the influence system did not slow down the Anarch stuff. And it's just like that. The Boggs era MWL just isn't going to handle most situations. And I've heard arguments that I give a good amount of credence. Like, I'm not 100% sold on, but like reasonably believe that basically influence is not the best balance mechanic. And like, I will say from having playtested, like, influence numbers are super difficult to playtest because, like, the dirty secret of playtesting is, like, we can't find every deck. There's just not enough of us. There's not enough people playing, and the cards change too often for us to find all the right decks. And influence is a balancing mechanic to some extent if we could know exactly what the right deck is and build and figure out the, this card going from 3 influence to 2 influences makes the deck X% better. and it's just not a lever you can use to balance that way. So it basically becomes a, do we want this to be easy, like somewhat built around, or all or nothing, which is a very crude shifter to try and balance your cards around, and you will make mistakes, and patching extra influence on is a very clunky form of errata, because it is now card text that you can't track, and it changed, right? Like Parasite's influence changed multiple times. Faust's influence changed multiple times. And that just seems like such a less friendly solution than admitting that you've screwed up in card design and saying, you know what, we just can't have this card in the game. And I suspect, like, Endurance is going to undergo that probably at some point. I wouldn't be too surprised if Nana Civic Grid undergoes that at some point. As much as I think, like, both of those cards you could errata pretty easily to make them balanced, I think the reality is it's just probably not going to happen. I'd love to see NSG do we're going to ban all these cards in Standard. Here is a product that you don't have to buy, where we have the Endurance 2, and we have Silver Farmer, and we have, you know, Engram Wash, and they're just better tuned versions of the cards. And so if you wanted to play with the real card, you could just have a sticker and people would remember and know what the currently legal card is. But if you wanted to buy the patched balanced version, you could. I feel like that might be a fun way to do it, that you can do because this is a non-for-profit, everyone gets all the cards, and you have a different distribution model. I think there's 0% chance that's ever happening, but I think it's an interesting idea where you can pseudo patch late. Sort of, honestly, kind of like they did with Mesnechestva. Like, I think Patch Runner, I know there are arguments against Patch Runner, and there are arguably the same arguments against the extra influence later. Is sort of the same thing. But I think influence is the crudest and worst balance mechanism. Okay, do I do something rude like Nico the Gatekeeper revealing it and then install the Rashida naked? That feels fun. I mean, this start is okay if I don't get doofed, right? Actually, no, if I get doofed, what I do is I go Rashida behind the Gatekeeper, Nico, Marilyn. If I get doofed, I res 4. I don't mind. So that's our start. Beautiful. That is totally our start here. Yes. And then we're going to go new remote. New remote. Yeah, call it like Endurance 2. Yeah, there's lots of things you could do. I think the problem... okay. I maybe shouldn't have paid one for this Rashida if I wasn't going to risk the Gatekeeper. Let's draw... Okay, that's a good draw. Let's put that on HQ. And this one I don't mind defending, I think. I think one of the things is I don't think it makes sense to print patched versions of the card in the next set, because that means instead of printing a fun new card, you're printing an old card that people don't like or have bad memories of because you don't get a card banned without some people disliking it. That's just a function of how the game works. Do we pull anything here with Gaslight? We must, right? I don't know what we pull, though. We just pull a hedge fund, just like stabilize our econ here. A bunch of people I know are still worried to buy Gateway because the card backs might change. I mean, they are going to change, right? That's been confirmed. This feels like a weird run to me. I guess you're going to pop the Fermenter here, go to 11. But, like, I'm going to just get 5 back. I don't know. Yeah, so like, the reason you're never going to see Patch Runner, basically, is because it doesn't help enough people to be, like, a good use of time. I think it's a bit of a bummer. I wonder if I should have purged, but... What breakers do we have in the bin? None. Yeah. Yeah, it's, you know, at the end of the day, honestly, my take is still the endurance is close-ish to okay. It's not probably, like, would the game be slightly better if endurance was a little bit weaker? Yes. Is the game unplayable because it's a little stronger than other cards? I don't particularly think so. And I think it also aligns with, like, traditional gameplay of, hey, you gotta make runs. Yeah, Reboot is Patch Runner. It definitely is a much smaller meta from what it looks like on the outside. Yeah, I mean, it's much smaller for a bunch of reasons that I think are almost separate from the fact that they're doing patches. Like, I wouldn't look at Reboot as a way to evaluate whether or not patching has merit. Because it has a bunch of, like... No. If you want to know what that is, that's fine with me. Like, there are some metas that switched from Null Signal to Reboot. Reboot has a whole bunch of other baggage among people that are old and just didn't get the, like, official designation, which matters a ton to people. It's like a really interesting element of Null Signal that, like, the officialness is actually really important. And that's fine. Like, humans are going to do what humans are going to do. Oh, wow, we're packing tracker tech. That's huge. I thought no one would do this energy. That's really interesting. We'll ditch a GFI here. I'd love to see something like old L5R with Netrunner about how the tournament's affecting the storyline of the games and more. I mean, some ideas come and go, etc. Okay, we're still safe here. Not, like, completely, but we've got a lot of scoring push out of here. So Jeremy Adams, I'll explain. Remind me when this game is done to explain what Tracker is doing. I only want to go on so many tangents in one show, basically. Let's put back. Yeah, or while I'm trying to think, I guess is the correct way to say this. Let's go. Tracker gets around next activation, doesn't it? It does. That's not why it's in this deck. It's for an entirely different deck that people were playing last weekend. Yep, you got me for sure. Knowing the drafter is a big deal there. I probably need to purge at some point. This is actually often why I was running the virus in a lot of decks, was because it makes the 4/1/9 matchup so much more bearable. I mean, so Ixran, to answer your question, I don't get the arguments against, say, influence Rada in the form of an influence list. NSG already does Rada bomb to weapon, etc., etc. They get a shit ton of pushback about that. Like, a shit ton of pushback about it. And bomb to weapon is a super small errata that affects one card, and it interacts with exactly one other card. So it's just, like, to me, it's not even the same universe of conversation. Okay, I will say, this is the best feeling Asa I have played in quite a while. Let's draw 2 cards. Let's gain 2 credit. I should have actually drawn 2 cards there. But we're going to do this in a very bad ordering. Okay, cool. Great. Let's actually put this Eli on Archives. I think that's the right play here. I don't want to have a bunch of expensive ice I can't res in my hand. I think next activation command's pretty solid as well. And whereas, like, if a card says bomb, but it actually is a weapon, like, people are just fundamentally not going to get that upset about that, I think. But changing the influence value, suddenly your deck is no longer legal, and that has a huge difference in implications. So, I had that game-winning GFI. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have dumped the GFI here. We are definitely just going to purge this turtle, I think. The lack of Essa in Fight Night round 1 shocked me. I think Essa's good, but is a little bit of a risky play for the style of tournament it was. And there's a better option in Anarch. So there's this, one of the things to know about Fight Night is you're only allowed one run. Like, you have to go through every faction before you can repeat. So Essa might have been like a reasonable run Anarch, but was just worse than the next best Anarch. And also, it has a real Reality Plus problem, I think. Like, you have to put a lot of tech in, and it's a lot of fun. Like, Sokka posted a really fun Essa list that does some real damage, but it's definitely a bit of a tricky one. We desperately need some econ. I might even spin Doctor back for a hedge fund fully up, I think. Because we are under quite a bit of pressure. Okay, maybe we're not under the most pressure in the world. How do I do this? Is it? Install on server 1. Done. Yes. Gain a credit. Next activation command. And maybe we'll draw a Seamless off the top of the deck and feel like kings. Or rulers, I guess. I will say this, Dockland's Pass done, I don't think anything this game. Maybe it's seen one extra card. Yeah, it accessed one extra card. 2 credits for a card's not a terrible rate, to be honest. 5 strength drafter feels not bad. Res, especially when we have this gatekeeper here. One really cute interaction is that if we can recur the next activation command, that can bump the gatekeeper above the Amakua base strength. Which is very cute. We're about to get blown open this turn, though. That's certainly the case. I guess we can res one of these, and if we res the drafter, we're pretty sad. But I think we just have to res the drafter, honestly, and hope that we get some econ. Bilby's a very good player. He's doing a nice job of keeping pressure on us, and despite what the scoreline shows. Did I talk about making a change and then didn't actually put any fast advance toys in? Good for me. This is the matchup where you really want the fast advance. I'm not oh boy, we are in some real trouble now. Okay. Dude, I'm not quite sure what you mean by the GFI line. Was there a GFI line you're thinking about earlier in this game? Yeah, we're in quite a bit of trouble here, despite being up 6-0. I guess there's no missed bones, so maybe we're okay. And like Bilby has to choose, are you going after this remote? Or are you going after the Maryland? Because it's very tricky to do both. The hell are these tunes? This is Trip Mirror, who made some Netrunner specific albums. Oh, we even get to keep the Managarm. That's nice. Oh, they should have probably popped the no free lunch here, just to get rid of that Managarm. That probably would have been correct. Alright, time to click back and forth. Speaking of Netrunner music, where the hell? I actually don't know Darwin D's. We have Seamless. We definitely do. Wow, opponent is spending their whole turn? Get 2 off of HQ? I guess they're assuming we've got lots of agendas. We're slightly below average, right? Because we've got 15 cards left and have only seen 8 points, so... why not pop the... Oh, because he 100% can do it. 100% can. It's very... There's a lot of worlds where a runner can do that. The no free lunch is like a ton of... In this board state, a ton of money. because Unity breaks Gatekeeper for 4 credits now. I guess the border control is technically still an option. Maybe this turn I have to go for it, though. I probably want some tranquility grids over the hedge funds, maybe. I don't know that I'm actually installing that much. I'm going to advance and take a credit here. It's very telegraphed now that this is a GFI, but I just don't have other choices. And also, Warner can see 2 off of R&D here. Oh yeah, Jeremy, YouTube might cut off the link, so I'll check it out later. Very interesting. Are you gonna Unity this? Yeah. That's a interesting one to me. Because you're not going to be able to get into R&D here. Okay, thinking. Let's see. Nope. Okay, now we're gonna res. Then we're gonna shuffle. So we drew 2 non-agendas. I was hoping to draw some agendas there. But we probably lose here. Oh, we got away with it. Let's go. I guess we might actually run out of money here. No, seamless, advance, advance. We'd be a credit short, so we'd have to draw seamless off the top. All right, opponent didn't catch us here. I guess also if that's a 4-2, it doesn't matter. Awesome case. I have not played any Isawak. It's definitely going to be something I want to try at some point. I was talking with a local who I don't think the Maryland... So if I have to rest the Gatekeeper, the Maryland money doesn't save me. Because I go to 0, I'm on 2 credits, I have to seamless advance, but that only takes me up to 4 advancements. And I have 0 credits at that point. So I would need to hit my other seamless off the top, which I didn't even shuffle back in. Oh no, I did shuffle back in. But, yeah. Alright, well, I think I'm gonna call it. We actually had a very good night. We've won most of our games. Actually, almost, yeah. Which is pretty good. I don't think we played against the most competitive decks, which means the data is not super meaningful for the Circuit Breaker Invitational. But for those of you who aren't aware, somehow, you're watching my stream but don't know about the Circuit Breaker Invitational, that event is being streamed this Saturday starting at 8 a.m. EST. I think that is 1 p.m. UTC. And oh, if you're finishing a What's the Tracker deal, yes, let me do that. I have to turn down the music for myself a bit because it is actually quite loud in my headphones. Okay, what's up with the tracker? So, this deck is what's up with tracker. So, if you haven't, I would go back to Metropol Grid's Twitch, and this was a deck that got played as the very last game of the Fight Night event, which was some of the large testing groups got together to play kind of an exhibition match. And Deer, a member of the Snare Bears, brought this list. And the idea behind this list is that you're going to install a Nanocivic Grid on Archives, you can install a Nanocivic Grid in your remote server, and you pick which one of R&D and HQ optionally that you want to put a Nanocivic Grid on. And Nanocivic Grid says whenever the runner approaches the server, you may turn one face-down piece of Archives face up. If you do, resolve one subroutine on that ice. Now, we should go look at Tracker, which says, click 2 credits. When your turn begins, choose a server, click 2 credits, make a run on the chosen server, prevent the first subroutine that would resolve this run from resolving. So, now you can run a server, have the Ag Infusion, the Nanny fire, but not end the run, not do core damage, not do any of that stuff, so you can, in theory, beat the Nanocivic Grid. Now, this is a 2MU program in Criminal, and I have no idea who can play this well, because it's going to be very hard in Crim to get a tracker firing for you, but it's definitely honestly one of the best tech options for this deck. Honestly, there's a bunch of problems with this list in terms of like ban candidates. And one that's been floated that I think is kind of interesting is Kakarenbo, because this resets the deck, and this deck actually only has 16 ice. So if you count that, sometimes you can force it to run out of ice, but of course the Kakarenbo just resets any ice they've discarded, which is pretty tricky. Yeah, Boat 419 maybe can do it, but Boat 4... Like, this is the thing with Endurance, is if you're not making if you're not making runs against uniced servers, it's not going to break a ton of ice for you. But Boat 419 or Boat Sable are definitely possibilities. But yes, so this is what the tracker deck is for, or what the tracker is for. It's tech for this list. I'll be interested to see if we see any of this at the Circuit Breaker Invitational, which is, as I was in the middle of saying, starting at, I believe, 1 p.m. UTC. There are almost 70 registered players, I believe, at this point in time. And this is, I think, the only invite-only event that NSG runs. Anyone who won a Circuit Breaker or higher tier event got an invite. We'll see. It'll be the first large competitive event. We got a little bit of data from Fight Night about what some of the testing groups think the meta might look like. I'm going to be honest, I don't think Endless Hunger... what was the card called? I don't think Endless Adjusted Matrix is going to be the meta. But I also, like, even though that's not the meta, it is huge. Oh, yeah, you're right, Sophie. Intercontinentals is the other invite-only event. But yeah, people should check that out. I will be not on stream, but I will be running the event. People should check out that stream, or maybe I'll see some of y'all playing in it. We're going to have a great comms team. I hope you all tune in. I'm looking forward to it. So until then, hope you all have a good night. Ta-ta. God, I'm back.